Yes, hailing you, hailing us from the USS Spacebook. Once again, it's time to sit back, soap up those nacelles, and engage your warp drive for a new episode of our YouTube exclusive, raw, unfiltered, as live Star Trek video podcast, news, views, and reviews from the final frontier. Of course, with me, Dan Hadley, Birmingham's King of the Geeks. You love it when I do that, don't you? Yes, I'm back again with more Star Trek talk. And as always, we have a plucky away team waiting on standby. First of all, yes, who's first? It's the man. How shall I introduce this guy? He's kind of Mr. Scott. He's our Mr. Scott, isn't he? He's a miracle worker in his own right, really. And I think one by one, they're all looking, which of us is that? Yes, he's definitely a miracle worker, a mega miracle worker. It's Ian David Diaz, the Mega Geek, of course. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hello. We're in to go, as always.
Yes,
we won't talk about this episode. Well, we have to talk about this episode, but I mean, oh my god.
Yes, we'll come round to Lower Decks later. I know you're chomping a bit. We keep the best stuff until the very, very last.
Yeah.
Next up, it has to be beaming in from that still unnamed M-class planet. The rabbi from another planet, Sfila Betkin. He's here.
Why do you think it's an M-class planet? I can't tell you what's going on. It's more of a B-class planet.
Oh, okay.
I have to tell you, I just watched Discovery. It's my least hated episode. In fact, this one was. I'm close to saying I would rather not be raped in prison than watch. I'd rather watch this than be raped in prison. So I think this is going well for them, by episode. Because this one, it just seems so, disconnected from the rest. And Mariner was hardly... We'll get to it soon, I know. But...
Hold on, are you talking about Discovery or this, or Lower Decks?
He is talking about Lower Decks, but he's so enthusiastic, he called it... You see, Alex, you're winning us over.
Discovery's going to be awful.
Let me bring in our guest this week. Somebody I suppose we could call him T'other Ian. It's Ian Brown back again. Hello, Ian.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Welcome aboard, Ian Brown, Mr. Brown. Yeah, we're back. We're straight off the bat. Lower decks right away.
Soaping up the nacelles.
Yeah. very colourful.
I know where your mind's at, Daniel.
I'm not saying a word. So it's been a couple of weeks since we spoke to you, Mr. Brown. How have you been finding it up to this week? Because it's been about 3 weeks. I gather you've kept watching Lower Decks. Is it slow?
I have, yes. It's getting better. It's evolving into more Star Trek-ish. Yeah, it's Boimler's not getting kicked in the bollocks every week, so we're making progress.
So you've definitely been keeping up, because I know it's wearing some people down. Some of us are sort of stepping away for a week and then watching one or two. But
it has its moments.
It has its moments. Well, speaking about having their moments, I wanted to start with something which isn't very contentious at all, and this particular individual that's been on my mind and speaking his mind. Come to think of it. In the media, it's Will Wheaton, everybody.
I did a video on him last week.
Well, this could be what he was saying last week, because he's got a new movie coming out. Will Wheaton, of course. Will Wheaton, he's been a part of Star Trek now for well over 3 decades. Man and boy, I think over time, a lot of us, we went from maybe being very, very irritated by the character he was playing to perhaps warming to him over the years. And he's become a sort of a Kevin Smith Jr., hasn't he? Really, he's the Kevin Smith that will read. He's the Kevin Smith that will read your auto cue and will do as he's told. Really, he's the everyman geek is the figure that he likes to cultivate. Will, and he presents a lot of.
He's the Will Wheaton of Will Wheatons.
He's a suck up, and he wants a job.
Unique.
Yeah. Well, I'm never really sure how to take this, because Will Wheaton this week has come out with some comments, because he's been angling for a job, hasn't he, on Picard and this new raft of shows. He wants to appear in Lower Decks too, and so he's now what was it? What was it he was exactly saying? He's out promoting his new film Rent-a-Pal.
Rent-a-Pal.
But he talks at length, which looks like a black comedy sort of thing. But it's a switching to Star Trek. But staying as somebody who was involved in the early 90s, and you're now the host of the Ready Room, how do you feel about all these new shows? And is it returning to the level it was back then? So they ask him about that, and they ask him about franchise fatigue. Now, I'm not sure that franchise fatigue is in play now. I think it probably was around the time Enterprise was on. But he says, I don't care about franchise fatigue. Well, he wouldn't do. He's not sitting on the sofa, so it's not really for him to care about. Either you like it or you don't. Either you come and participate or you don't. And if you don't like it, God bless you. Go do something else. That's fine. That is.
It's called sucking
There
up.
you go.
That's what
Yeah.
I want it. Let's just decipher that, shall we? I want a job. Please, Kurtzman, give me a job.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And like, there's nobody who's vaguely impartial who could pretend Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard is objectively not an awful show. It's I'm just like on a technical level. It's like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't roll. It's repelled its audience. Every possible way it could fail, it fails. Other than it keeps getting renewed, which is whatever that secret sauce is. I wish I could find it. Like you could do absolutely anything, and you're still gonna get another season. I mean, they could have the season 3 of Discovery could be. How many is 16 weeks? How long it is of Michael Burnham's gaping arsehole? Oh yeah, just each week her gaping arsehole, right? And they'll be like, "Oh, it's fantastic." Yeah, you get.
Do you know what? It's better if he stayed silent, just like Peter Davison and the rest of the Doctor Who cast. They've literally been silent because they know that the era of Doctor Who is crap. This era of Doctor Who is crap. He should do the same thing. He should be quiet. Right, just let things go. Try and work his way into the Kurtzman universe. That's what he's trying to do, which I'm kind of 90% there. That's what he's trying to do.
Beyond me though, like
quiet, moving.
That's it, right? Yeah. The days have to be numbered for the Kurtzman universe. Like it's the wrong person to suck up to. Get a job on the Orville.
Yeah, exactly.
Try and do that. And if you maintain some credit, maintain some self-respect, Wheaton. I mean,
that's the thing. I feel it's almost undignified. I mean, okay, he hosts some sort of after show, doesn't he? Which I think is connected to Discovery. I think it's called the Ready Room. I know it's an official product, and yet he still sort of puts over this persona that he's one of us.
Yeah, he's not.
And for a time, I did kind of fall for that, Mr. Brown. I did believe that perhaps he is one of us, but it's been an act the whole time, it seems.
Why did he leave Next Gen? What's the story behind that?
Got fired.
Is it because everybody... Oh.
I don't know.
Did he get fired, or did they just like say, listen, we fine-tuned this now. Genius Kids, maybe not the place for...
Yeah, his character ran its course.
To be honest, I liked Wesley Crusher because I was that age.
Wesley.
Yeah. I never had anything major against him anyway. To be
honest. I didn't. And personally, if there was something going on behind the scenes, blah blah blah. Personally, I don't know why they got rid of him because everything seemed to be just coming together.
Exactly, they got rid of him. They made the show 100 times better.
I think he was always a bit of a crutch. I think he was always a bit of a crutch for writers. This really super mega clever kid who could seemingly do anything. He was a walking sonic screwdriver, really. And that's how they. And although I like a lot of the scripts on Star Trek, writers sort of fell back on the Wesley episode, and they still continue to do that after he was in the regular cast, didn't they? They brought him back at least once a season, but at least when they did so, it tended to be a much more character-based piece than some real low-hanging fruit.
Personally, I didn't have any problems with the character at all. But again, I was at that age where I was just watching good sci-fi, and you just think it's brilliant. I don't care, it's brilliant.
Well, he started to get when they got rid of him. For me, was when the character was starting to get really, really interesting and was starting to grow up and to be conflicted with their own, with what they thought their path would be, and perhaps where it should be, where it could be.
Yeah, but the eject button was pressed at the wrong time.
Yeah, but when I see him coming out with things like this, I mean, particularly as a fan of all the new and upcoming shows, which one has you most interested? And he says, I absolutely love Lower Decks. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I feel.
Come on, come on.
Well-
Is he watching it on really good acid?
Well, you know, to be,
I
Yeah.
want
not coming into
I
his
want
defense
some.
or anything like that, but he has to say things like that, I guess, if he's being interviewed. And also,
tell
if
a
he
lie,
wants
yeah.
a job on Kurtzman Trek, then yeah, he's going to say things like that. So it's understandable. But what I don't like is him pretending that these shows are good, because anyone with a brain knows these shows are terrible. So, you know, and he's obvious what he's doing. He wants a job. You know, if you took all of that dialogue in that section that you showed us, and you actually paired it down to what he wanted to actually say, it would have one line saying, "Give me a job." That's it, right across the board. That's it.
Listen, long-term unemployment and boredom makes you start doing crazy things. Mate. Trust me, I know. Yeah,
It's Paul
Yeah,
Cornell
trust me.
with Doctor Who all over again.
Yeah,
But
100%. Yeah.
But somebody has come to Will's aid. Somebody's heard his cry, and they've set up a change.org petition to get you, Will, to get you that part in Picard. But we're going to check out and see how it's going. Actually, it's been up for a few weeks now, and we are at it hasn't got to the 500 signatures yet. It's been we're struggling a little bit. I think I speak on behalf of most of us. This is a guy called Tiago Coatrim who started this petition. I think I speak on behalf of most of us when I say Will Wheaton should be in Star Trek Picard. What happens to Wesley Crusher after the Traveller? Did he come back to Starfleet?
It's not
and
important.
blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it's been,
could you
it's
put
been
a
up for a
link
while.
in the chat, please? Dan,
Yes, that
I
will.
So I can sign up later, please.
This will definitely be in the description afterwards for anybody who wants to go there and support our mate.
The Traveller show was a great untapped.
The Traveller was more interesting than Wesley.
That could have been quite a good little thing between those two. It could have been quite good. I would have genuinely been interested in that.
Yeah. I believe that he probably will turn up at some point.
Like a bad penny.
Yeah,
Do you think there's going to be another season of it?
No.
Picard.
Nope. They won't be able to ensure and Patrick Stewart. He's too old.
That's what I thought.
There's no way they're going to make another series of Picard. I'll be really surprised if they do.
They could do like the Three Doctors, in like 1973. He's in a little Perspex cube. That's the only joke they got there, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think the longer that they leave it between commencing production on something like that, the less likely it is that it will happen.
Look,
I mean,
you know what's going to happen, right? So basically, Picard's not going to happen. Probably a new series of Lower Decks because it's cheap to make. I don't think Discovery is going to work. Do you see what happened when I put it on the first season on national TV? It was one of the lowest rating shows.
Nobody watched it.
Nobody watched it. Right, so this goes to show how popular it is. And what's the one with the Pike show? What's that Pike one called?
Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds not going to happen because they don't have the money yet. So
you see, and they talk about this strategy that they have about putting these shows together, don't they? Up to a point, and people coming out from working in this machine, they talk about it after the fact too. And yet there are massive Star Trek fans out there who think that people like us and other people who are probably even more opinionated than we are, what they say about it, that we're conspiracy theorists. Oh, they say that Discovery's got axed every 6 months, and yet it's still here. And they are right.
No. Discovery is only playing because it was before the pandemic, right? And I'll be really surprised if this took a lot of viewers and it went to like 8 million watching or something like that. It won't. It'll be low rating again. And I'm hoping that it's going to be all the virtual signaling and stuff, and the feminine gender will be taken out of this. Like Keith is hoping that he's excited about this show because he thinks it's going to be different. But I keep reminding him the same people that put that agenda in the last season are running this season. So what is the likelihood that all that stuff is going to disappear and they're going to concentrate on stories? It's very low. So
when I think it was when you were last in, actually, Mr. Brown, we talked a little bit about all the rumours that CBS All Access was it was the end of days for CBS All Access. They were going to wind that down and evolve it. And very soon afterwards, they announced that it was going to be turned into or rolled into a much bigger entity, an international entity called Paramount Plus. Could this be? I think Series 3, Season 3 of Discovery is an effective relaunch for that. But will it carry on over into Paramount Plus? Because they're not going to be able to commence shooting. Just like with Picard, they're not going to be able to film a 4th series of Discovery for months, are they? Yeah. If ever.
Because they are filming a bunch of stuff. Oh, yeah, they're filming Call the Midwife. They're filming what's it? Grey's Anatomy. But they're not filming Survivor.
Well,
Survivor is the easier thing to do.
But the thing is, though, I mean, the ones that you mentioned, they're huge studios. I mean, they are doing the midwife thing, but I suspect, I guess they must be taking huge, priorities with the masks and social distances and stuff like that. But look, you know what? Keith was on a shoot, recently, and he said it was really high. He had to take his walkie with him home because he was firsting on it, right? That's how much they cared about it. But when they had lunch, everybody was sitting with each other with their masks down, eating their food. So I'm confused, if you're protecting the chick and then you have lunch and you're with all the other people.
I would imagine if there's one place to make a TV series, it would be Grey's Anatomy, because obviously they've got all the masks and medical equipment at hand. So
I guess so. Yeah,
that would be quite an easy series to produce, I would presume.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, and I'm thinking about something like called.
We just want to Star Trek.
Well, yeah, we do. But I'm thinking about programs like Call the Midwife and Peaky Blinders, where a lot of them they film them not necessarily in remote they don't film them in remote places, but they have got standing sets or locations that are easily sort of isolated from everywhere else, very, very self-contained. And could that be part of it? I believe that for example, Peaky Blinders and Call the Midwife, a bulk of the location filming is done in Ireland, whereas where the in-studio stuff is all done in Bristol, I think, on Call the Midwife. So they've probably been very sort of compartmentalised about it. Whereas something like Doctor Who, where they have to potentially fly over the world, that's not going to be feasibly possible, or travel the length and breadth of the UK. And where with the Star Trek shows, although most of them are filmed in studios, they're big sound stages, aren't they? Yes, that's it, in Canada. Yeah, I believe in Canada. I think at least 2 of the shows are filmed in Canada. Who knows where it's going to go? But going back to Will Wheaton, it's not the idea that those of us who aren't enjoying this should go and just do something else.
Screw off.
It's. I think that.
Language.
he needs to accept. Back in the day, he had it good.
Yes.
Something happened. He just needs to leave it. Move on.
Yeah. Well, you are, in fact, yes.
Yes. Talking bollocks. Listen, we all do.
Look, you know what? Right? He's probably a nice guy, right? But he'd be stupid to think that we cannot see through his crap. We can see exactly what he's doing, right? And because the Access media doesn't point it out, social media is pointing out, people like us and people like, Bowstrick, whatever, everybody knows what he's doing. He's a fool. I'm sorry. No disrespect to you, mate, but what you're doing is stupid and foolish, right? If you want a part in Trek and Kurtzman Trek, just say it. Just freaking say it. We'll have more respect.
Good point.
We'll have more respect for you.
Trouble is, he lives he lives in Hollywood, I guess, the entertainment industry, and they all liars and they're all full of crap all the time, and they just think it's normal. They don't understand that not lying is a normal thing. They don't get that because they're the worst people in the universe. That's why.
Will Wheaton is as dumb as. No, actually, Forrest Gump was quite clever.
Will Wheaton was he's a couple of years older than me, so he was he literally was a teenager when he was in Star Trek. But this week there was an important anniversary really for British Star Trek fans. Anybody who grew up in Britain, it was the 30th anniversary just yesterday of Star Trek: The Next Generation finally making it to British TV here on the 26th of September 1990. Now, I suspect that a couple of you may have watched it 3 years, 3 years ago on VHS before that point. But when it did finally appear on British TV there in the 6 o'clock slot, or at least called the Death 2 slot.
What year was that?
That was 1990.
I watched it on the BBC.
I left England about 6 months after that. About 91, I think. What year was that?
Wow.
Yeah, I think the VHSs came out way before the
rental.
So
you know what? I didn't get
ahead, wasn't it?
I didn't get the VHSs because I was a huge fan of the 60s and I didn't think it would work. I remember at the time when people were saying this new stuff and I'm like, I saw a picture of, Patrick Stewart. I'm like, he's bald. This ain't going to work. But then when I caught up with it after my day job, I came in and I watched it. I thought it was really good. So I was won over by the episodes. It's season 1 we're talking about. Season 1, I was won over. So
I remember. I don't know if any of you do, but when the show started in America, obviously in '87, taking literally 3 years to make it to British TV. In the intervening time, I was watching it. I certainly watched all of season 1 on rental tapes. But
you could buy them, yes, as well.
Even I stopped talking about it because nobody in the UK, next to nobody, knew there was such a thing as Star Trek: The Next Generation until it turned up on BBC Two.
Yeah,
3 years now. It's unheard of. You can barely go 3 weeks now. But
do you remember when you were at school? Everybody was doing this. It was like, did you see Star Trek? Because the old badges, isn't it? Like,
Daniel, I knew about it.
Yeah.
Well, I think geeks did, but back then, as we know, being a geek was really quite a solitary thing, and you may tell your mate about it, or get somebody from school to come round and watch it with you, or my brother would watch it with me, in my case, and then you'd go, you'd wait until the next tape came out, and you'd barely give it a moment's thought.
Yeah.
But that's not my. I've still got that copy of the Radio Times. It's in the loft. That's not mine. I took that off the internet. But yeah, there was a big feature in there as well. So they really did go with it and give it a good push.
Well, you have to remember the 90s, especially the early 90s. The schedulers hated science fiction.
Yeah, they really did.
It wasn't until the X-Files really that.
Did you know that it was because of Buffy that 6 o'clock slot was opened to this stuff? Yeah. So they brought Buffy and they thought, well, we'll just put it in some slot. Nobody's going to watch it anyway. And then BBC was really surprised with the amount of people. 2 to 4 million people were watching Buffy on BBC Two in the evening, and it blew their mind. So they decided to buy Star Trek and every other sci-fi they could to put in that slot, and that prompts them to pick up and revisit Doctor Who, to remake Doctor Who. So if it wasn't for Buffy, Doctor Who with Chris Eccleston would never have got made.
That is absolutely true. You've got the rest of it. You've got some of the rest of it a little bit sort of back to front, because the Death 2 slot started in '88, and it went through several phases. At which this was in 1990, Buffy was in 1998. It came to terrestrial TV, but it had gone through peaks and troughs, and there'd been a gap in between Trek finishing, Deep Space Nine sort of winding down. And a bit of fatigue had set in there before Buffy came along, and they used Buffy to sort of reignite it. They definitely did. Yeah, you're right. And from then on, it was only ever a matter of time before Doctor Who came back.
If you think about that slot, 4 million people was watching Buffy at one point. That's unheard of.
And the next generation had the same level of success too. They were spreading that. Sorry, Mr. Brown.
The BBC the BBC 6 p.m. weekly slot started off with Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica, Space 1999, all the classics, and then it became established as, because I remember I was Wolverhampton Polytechnic. We used to watch it in the in halls of
Library.
residence.
Because if you remember, Mr. Brown, they used to have like continuity announcements to it, didn't they? But they would, and there would be from people like the cat from Red Dwarf, or Janet Street Porter, or Magenta Divine, or Normsky. They introduced the shows, and they would, but it would be really sort of postmodern. So they would take the piss out of the shows and then play them and be all sort of, well, that was a load of shit, wasn't it? But something changed.
Slot, the 6 p.m. BBC Two weekly slot became quite important, especially for sci-fi. It was the go-to moment on TV for geeks. It was great.
I think when it changed was when they picked up Thunderbirds in '91. And put it with Next Gen. So you've got Next Gen on Wednesday, Thunderbirds on Friday, and that's what sort of lifted it. And they started to take it. They started to take it seriously. Then, they dropped all those links that were just taking the piss out of the material.
As I said, I remember being at Wolverhampton Polytechnic. I think it was Wednesday nights. They had Wednesday or Thursday. They had Next Gen at 6 p.m. weekly. And it was fantastic. Every night had some form of a different sci-fi or geek show. It was great.
Yeah,
they did get the original series in at one point. They added that to the mix. I think they used to put that on Mondays.
It was all in there. It was all in there.
I'm wrong. That was because the BBC lost the right, as it always happens, because the BBC were clowns then, and they're a different kind of clown now. They put on Next Generation later than everybody else. It hit big. They showed the first 3 seasons, and it got really, really popular. And then Sky just swooped in and bought it.
That's right.
At the end, it honestly, that happened. So from 1992 onwards, they couldn't have Next Gen anymore. They'd got to wait until they could get repeat rights. So they had to take a break from it for 2 years, and that was when they put TOS on.
Yeah, but Sky changed the whole concept of TV. When Sky came into TV, it literally changed the way the broadcasters thought of how shows were.
Completely.
They swooped, didn't they?
Well, they believed in these shows because they looked at the numbers in America, and they saw the huge influence over here of other American imports, and they knew. I think with the BBC aired this stuff, there was always that air of, oh, here we go, this is that program. We don't really know what it's about. We don't really know who it's for. We're going to take the piss out of it, take it or leave it. With Sky, they treated these shows that were pulling in big numbers in the States, and they revered them. So what they did was they took those 3 seasons of Next Gen that the BBC had put on, and they stripped them across the week. Monday to Friday, they would show those as repeats, and then they would premiere. And this was as season 4 was beginning. And then on Thursday nights, they would premiere the new episode. So Next Gen was on 6 times a week. It really was treated as the jewel in the crown, alongside The Simpsons. And that was where I think a lot of people started.
It was the 5 p.m. slot on Sky.
That's right. Yeah, and a lot of people picked up in this country. Went and got Sky just to see The Simpsons and Star Trek.
But Sky was clever because they basically monopolized sport, and that was their power. So once they monopolized sport in this country, then they knew that was going to keep the whole of their network afloat, because that was billions and billions. And then they had the power to buy Star Trek off, just to beat BBC at their own game and buy all those shows that were popular on BBC Two and BBC One and just bring them back to Sky. So, that was very clever move by Sky's part, if you think about it. So they had all that money.
The BBC managed they got their hands on Next Gen. They got the repeat rights after Sky, but they had that 2-year block where they couldn't show anything at all. Yeah. But I wouldn't say the bubble had burst by that point, but by that point, I think people who loved it had chosen to either get Sky or buy the VHS tapes, as you said, Mr. Brown, because they became a lot cheaper then.
At that time,
having those VHS tapes as well. They look good on your shelf.
They do.
They did.
Like behind you, Rabbi.
You can't beat a bit of shelf porn.
That's right.
It's always been the same.
But it was a marketing triumph that had never happened before.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy though when you think about TV in general when in England, because as you remember, Rabbi, and I'm sure you guys remember, there was 3 channels, then there were 4 channels. Right. And then there were 5 channels. And then Sky Yeah, and Sky came along, and then it exploded when Sky came on. You know, with American imports and stuff like that. But can you remember the day when the 9 o'clock slot on the BBC was an American show? Do you remember?
LA Law, that was
That's
big
right.
in that slot.
Yeah.
They did it with the X-Files, but they never put Star Trek. They never put any Star Trek there. I think the closest they had to in the UK
Boston Legal.
to a terrestrial channel putting a Star Trek show anywhere respectable was when Channel 4 bought Enterprise.
That's right.
But they left it that bit too late, I think, because obviously that was 2001.
Yeah.
They put that on in the 6 p.m. slot on a Sunday. And by that point, I think people had sort of moved on from it a little bit.
I mean, am I right in saying that they actually put Quantum Leap on in that same
they did.
slot?
That was BBC Two, yes, BBC Two, yeah.
Eventually they did. When that launched, that was in a 9 p.m. slot as well, because it was seen as an adult show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They've never really known what to do with any of these things at the BBC, and for all that we could take the. Sorry, Rabbi, what was that?
And clearly they still don't.
They still don't.
they don't. It's true. It's absolutely. You're right. Absolutely right, Rabbi. It's absolutely true. BBC do not respect sci-fi at all. If you look at all the sci-fi stuff they do, they don't respect it. They don't do it properly. The last big sci-fi thing they did was War of the Worlds, and they pissed all over that. So
that was all. They screwed it up, didn't they?
Yeah, totally.
Discovery is now on E4. I understand, for the people out there who can't see it elsewhere.
3 people are watching it.
Yeah, it's not doing very, very well. Picard's just on Amazon Prime. No cable
how much
or standard channels.
These things and how badly they fail.
But it will end up on Channel 4. Picard will end up on Channel 4 because they need the money. They'll probably sell it cheap to Channel 4, and Channel 4 will buy it.
It probably will happen. And we are yet to have an official home for Lower Decks.
Or a place for that.
Yeah, not a whisper about this. Interest. I just can't detect it. It's just like when I was talking about being a next gen viewer between 1987 and 1990 in the UK. Watching Lower Decks is pretty similar. Some of us know that it exists. Trek fans know that it exists, but the amount of people who've actually seen it, you could probably count them on the fingers of the one hand.
I'd rather go through Pond Fire than watch another episode of this. Seriously, it was so awful. God.
Well, I've got some good news for you. Ian, because this episode is episode number 8, which means there's only a couple more left.
God,
you know why that's not good news? That means Discovery is getting closer.
This is Veritas this week. This is written by Garrick Bernard, directed by Kim Arndt. And the story generally goes like this. Mariner, Boimler, Tendi and Rutherford are caught off guard when aliens force them to testify about a series of seemingly unrelated events.
What a load of bollocks.
They go to
I disagree. I disagree.
Okay, we'll come to that in a moment, fellas. Back to your corners. This one, they start off, don't they, giving us the Star Trek 6 lead in like this. We go up through that shaft of light, up into this courtroom. There's gavels, there's shafts of light, and everybody's sort of grunting, and nobody knows what's going on. And I was sort of with you. Who was it who said this was okay? So far, so good. I thought the introduction was really, really promising. So good. Oh boy. Yes. Okay.
How they said this is this is nowhere near as bad as the clip.
He's frozen.
Yes, your camera's frozen, Rabbi. We can hear you, but we can't see you. Mr. Brown, come on then. You're our guest.
Basically,
I think everybody's freezing. I enjoyed it. Dear CBS, it's the bestest thing I've seen in many years. I love it. The humor is fantastic. You've stopped kicking Boimler. No, we're talking about this now. Lowest Decks. Boimler's not getting his bollocks kicked.
That's true.
Which is positive. The bestest ever isn't quite in your face as the previous episodes. Lots of nice little nods to Star Trek. It's evolving into something that's ish Star Trek. Blah 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 blah. It's brilliant, CBS. Thank you.
So in your, I wasn't sure if you've been sarcastic then, but seriously though, Mr.
Lowest
Brown,
form of wit. Lowest form of wit.
So
He did it.
Did you?
He went there.
Do you believe that this is a step up then from previous weeks, Mr. Brown? Because you haven't been here for a couple of weeks.
It is. I am smiling on the odd occasion now. So yes.
Okay.
Maybe it's just worn me down. I don't know.
Well,
It doesn't seem as abrasive. It doesn't seem as abrasive as the first few episodes.
Okay, so the difference is this. This one had less Mariner. The less Mariner you put in it,
As I said, that's why it's getting better. As I said,
yeah. And I think
That's
whenever
what I
you put her in, and she's less like, "Whoa, in your face! Look at me! I'm so cool!" And everybody acts like she's not an arsehole. Like everybody acts like she's good. I don't understand how that happened.
she's the bestest ever.
Oh, so when she's not in, and this one is, I'm not sure I blanked out because this one again, because it seemed like it was pure parody and wasn't trying to be, like the Orville. It wasn't trying to be.
Maybe it's finding its feet. The characters are getting more equal character time now. Airtime instead of just being Mariner, just being I am the bestest ever. Blah 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 blah.
I liked Mr. Brown the fact that we started there with all the characters on screen and they all seem to be in it together.
Yeah, they're getting more. Yeah, there's more of an equal balance. I would probably say.
The story doesn't make any
It's still
sense.
shit.
We'll
still
come
bollocks.
to that in a moment because when I said the word seemed, it did seem they were in it together, and I really enjoyed the opening of this. I thought it was full of atmosphere, and it was. I wanted to know what was going to. I wanted to know what was going to happen next.
Oh, Ian, you're so serious.
And the fact that they used those calling cards. I mean, I have decided in my head that this is a parody. This, despite what they say, this is a parody of Star Trek. It's a spoof of Star Trek. They haven't officially labelled it as such, but I have to take it as that. And from the place that you're both in there, Mr. Brown and the Rabbi, a bit more sort of warmed to it this week. That was the place I was at a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's that kind of show which is going to dip with all of us. And maybe it'll go through phases.
It could be worse. It's shit, but it could be worse.
Maybe it's going to go through phases of wearing us all down at different times. I don't know, because my feeling is, and Ian's chomping at the bit, I know.
No,
this is 23 minutes.
Be nice.
For me, on the other side of this now, it was all way, way, way too much. I felt like I was being shouted at for 23 minutes solid. Ian, what do you think?
Bit like Ian, really.
I totally disagree with every one of you. This was an absolute tragedy of an episode.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right.
I thought it started great.
No, but it doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'll tell you the reason why it doesn't make any sense. Okay, right. So these people get invited to a party, the main people that run the ship. Okay, and yet out of the thousands of people on that ship, they pick those four.
Yeah, okay.
How does that make any sense?
None of it makes sense. None of them should know what the villains they were naming from Next Generation. Like, what's the name? But I didn't even remember him. The one with
But listen, if you've got a table full of writers, if you're the showrunner and you've got a table full of writers, nobody ever questioned that. Wait a sec, there's thousands of people on that ship, and they picked those four.
It's all written on the back of a fag packet.
It is. It's terrible. This whole episode doesn't make any sense. The reason why this episode is there is to remember Barry loads of different things, from Star Trek 6 to everything going across, right? And the humor does not work, right? And even though
most of the time,
even though Mocky Spock was hardly in this one, well, she was in it for a bit. She didn't seem to be in danger or anything like that at all. and it was just a tragedy of an episode. It didn't. The writing was terrible. Didn't make me laugh once, and the ending was stupid. What else can I say?
I didn't laugh either. I think I'm prepared to accept that other people may have felt differently and may have been able to roll with it. But I just found it, in this instance, I probably didn't find it as obnoxious as previous episodes, but I found it so loud, so unfailingly sort of in your face the entire time. It was forcing so many things through the screen at me. There was more references in this one episode than
trying too hard.
All the others. It was trying way, way, way too hard. And because they had got a half decent idea for a story under there, that almost made it even worse. It showed up. It showed up how undisciplined I think the writing is on this. And yeah, I was just exhausted, absolutely exhausted.
Can I point out another thing, right? So with the red alert goes off, right, and they're all running around, and what's his name? Purple-head man,
Boimler.
Right, Mookie Spock. They go to the bridge, right, to do what? To take over from where Sulu was sitting.
I couldn't work that
They're
out
lower
either.
decks.
Yeah.
They're lower decks. They shouldn't even be on. What changed? What?
Rabbi?
That makes no sense. The story makes no sense. They did things so they can progress the story.
I think they're looking at it more like a Saturday Night Live sketch now. Again, this isn't supposed to be a canonical part of Star Trek. I mean, they say it is,
I love
but
Tandy.
it's clearly not, because then it makes no sense.
Tandy's ace.
But, okay, the thing that actually really annoyed me is why put Q in without getting John Delancey?
That's right.
Like,
that's right.
Such a terrible impersonation of him. I was going,
Apparently, it was John Delancey.
It was John Delancey.
Get out of here.
He's desperate for work.
Everyone's desperate for work.
It was John Delancey.
I think what all you guys are saying is that going back on my previous comment about fag packets, I think the writers need to start smoking more, basically.
Yeah,
you
know
think
what?
40 a day isn't cutting it. I think they need to up their game to 80 a day.
The only story or the only bits that was mildly amusing was the Geordie ripoff guy, because you couldn't remember what was going on and then he disappeared and suddenly he was rebooted. I thought that was quite good.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but it's all right, yeah.
The rest of it was rubbish.
That was another episode's worth of ideas, information, and setup crammed in to 30 seconds worth of screen time. It was so fiercely annoying. I really, this episode, I think because, as I said before, because it was something half decent underneath it, that's why this has made me more angry than all the others. I feel like I'm wasting my time watching it now. And
so do I.
I'm always annoyed to try and put into it. Always.
Yeah.
They'll watch and go, oh yeah, that was worthwhile.
The four people are floating in the top. They couldn't open their mouths and say, "You're getting this all wrong." And then what's that stupid excuse? Because we had to respect them and all that. That's absolute shit. As I said, the whole episode is member burying and trying to put us into the Star Trek universe, which doesn't belong.
I'll give you a top
thing
10.
was a big waste of time. The Q thing. Just seriously, I didn't even know I thought
there was no point in Q being in this episode at all. And I like the idea of sort of just dropping him in there, but only if that's all that there is going to be. It seems incredible. It just seems like a wasted opportunity and a waste of John Delancey. I mean, the fact that the rabbi didn't even consider that it could actually be the same guy just goes to show that it was a massive waste of him.
And why are they asking purple-haired man for ideas? I mean, he's just a lower decks guy.
I didn't get that either. I didn't understand any of that scene at all.
It was just bollocks.
Mr. Brown, you're warming to Tandy little. I must admit, so am I.
Oh, Tandy! I love Tandy.
I can't stand Tandy.
I don't know what it is about the character, but I have warmed to her.
Well, I like her.
Why do you think it is?
Because she's green.
Yeah, pleasing to the eye. I just like her haircut. I think her haircut's fantastic.
Because she's not quite as manic as
Listen, if Captain Kirk goes around shagging Orion girls. That's good enough for me, pal.
Say no more. I can't really argue.
Say
with
no
that.
more. Yeah.
Yes, and we're talking about member berries. Who was it who mentioned the member berries a moment ago? I mean, this episode was packed with more than ever that one scene there. I mean, we have so many in those ships, all from various episodes, various versions.
It looks
of Star
great.
Trek.
The series looks great, but just the writing. The writing. You look at it, and it's a visual pleasure. It looks fabulous.
Yes.
It's a visual pleasure.
I think if half the attention that went into visual stuff like this and kisses and nods to the past and member berries, I don't know where member berries has come from. That's brilliant. Member berries. So South Park. If the attention was put into the writing that is put into all that stuff, this would be incredible. And I think that, in some respects, most weeks with these storylines, I think there's nothing wrong with the pacing of it that an extra 5 minutes of screen time wouldn't fix. But with this one, I just thought it was...
Oh my God, that sounds terrible.
Room to
they
breathe.
took Mocky Spock and they go, right, they lift her into the air and they're going to chuck her into the pond with all the thingies, wherever they are swimming around. And it's a threat, right? But why threat her? Why there's no point in threatening her.
Because without that, the episode had no tension at all.
Exactly.
That's why.
That's really bad writing. This is worse than the
I was on the edge of my
Who.
seat.
Yeah, just really bad.
I'll give you a top tip on how to watch it. If you watch it on the laptop,
so to watch it.
If you watch it on the laptop with Emmerdale Farm on the TV, you can swap between the two.
I don't call it Emmerdale Farm anymore.
So, shows how old I am. Yeah, Emmerdale and Lower Decks. It's the way to go. It's the way forward.
Yeah, it is absolute shit. I'm sorry. This episode was absolute shit. And the ending made it even worse. I sat there and I was like, what the... Anyway.
What the hell have I just watched? There was plenty of these for everybody, for all the people out there who all this stuff, if it was good enough for you. We've got just little things like the security guards' outfits there, the enormous Spock reference from the animated series, the salt monster, which I'm sure they've done the salt vampire gag a couple of times in this season already. Yeah. We're only 8 episodes in.
Forgettable.
Would the vinegar monster neutralize
that? But you know what? That could be the plot.
That's a thinking man's joke. That's a thinking man's joke.
Definitely. And the Remans there, the Romulans' cousins, aren't they? The nasty ones from Nemesis. So it's all there, and I think it would be rewarding if the rest of the episode was just better. I'm tired now. There's only 2 more left.
Oh, stick with it, pal. Stick with it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you've made it this far.
I mean, tell you, it's the only time I regret having my YouTube channel is the time I got to put into watching this and Doctor Who and Discovery. I really regret putting my time. In fact, this one I just had it on the background as I was working. Yeah. I watched the first 10 minutes on TV, and I thought I got other things I need to do. I'm just going to put it on the background while I finish things off.
I think it's because with the average episode of this, all the things, as I've said before, it's the same tune, slightly rearranged pretty much every episode. I think this one could have been perhaps slightly different because they had that sort of story within a story device. But the general plot was exactly the same. The entire situation, the entire problem, a lot of it was created by Mariner again. And they just chopped up the running order and put one half of it inside the other one this time, rather than just sort of separated it out in an analog way.
Listen, the program could be worse because
it could be worse.
It's 23 minutes long. It could be an hour long. So
so be thankful for small.
Take a positive.
But there was a reference.
Really, that's not positive. That's not a positive. It's really bad. It's like
I mean,
listen, I'm so glad.
It could be worse. It could be worse.
If I was a stockholder of CBS, I would be going crazy right now. And just this sheer corporate stupidity that is. I mean, breath. I mean, we see this corporate stupidity goes on like this all the time. We just happen to be seeing it, you know. It just happens to be we're geeks, so we look at this stuff and we just see the mismanagement, misspend, like this whole thing. Like, I think hundreds of millions of dollars have been horribly spent.
I'm gonna be a little bit positive here. I kind of get the feeling that CBS know that it's just not good. But I would imagine that they're just tied into a contract where they just cannot get rid of who. They just cannot get rid of him because of it's just probably going to be just such a mega contract that he got back in the day.
Yeah. Apparently it's watertight for 2 or 3 years, and that's irrespective of what goes on a corporate level. All this stuff being rolled into Paramount Plus. Last time on the show, as we were recording, our friend Noel Glynn from the TARDIS Zone, he came with some live breaking news at the time that the Star Trek movie series has all been, well, not axed, but put on hold. I'm sure there will be another Star Trek movie eventually, but that they decided to lock it down, clear the slate, and to power everything down that was in of development and production. But since then, they came out and denied that, didn't they, Mr. Brown?
Well, with Strange New Worlds, I am desperate for it to be good. Because
I'm not.
That's how they get you. Yeah, same.
That's right.
They're dangling. They're dangling the ultimate. They're dangling the ultimate carrot that any self-respecting Star Trek fan who's loved it from TNG and TNG, they know we're going to go for that.
Yeah, Anson Mount sold me, but I don't want the writers. I don't want Akiva Goldsman writing it. I would much rather see Star Trek after season 3 of Discovery. That's it, no more. Give it 3-4 years, and then get the correct writers in for Strange New Worlds, and please make it
We do not
good.
want Strange New Worlds because Strange New Worlds is connected with Kurtzman, and Kurtzman will spoil everything. What we need is
involvement from Kurtzman.
What we need is to eradicate this era of Star Trek completely and start again. That's what we need to do.
I agree completely.
I agree as well, and I think that's probably what Emma Watts will want to do.
Yeah.
That's because there's no reason why this franchise. I mean, maybe it wouldn't dominate. It's been around for probably too long to dominate in the same way that other things have. The MCU, for example, but I think it could certainly look a lot. I think it could stand taller than it is.
Yeah.
I think it could all be a lot more coordinated and more satisfying. And more feel like it matters. Feel like it is part of the present rather than all this stuff. And for all the lengths that they go to make it relevant with all the social justice stuff and LBGT and all this, the more that they do that, it still seems like Star Trek is that show from years and years ago. This is just sort of playing in the sandpit rather than doing what TNG did in the 80s. Was to redevelop it and make it feel like it really, really matters and is actually going somewhere again.
It's just it's bankrupt at the moment. All of it. It's all bankrupt.
I am more inclined, and obviously none of us know, all joking apart, none of us know Alex Kurtzman personally. Of course we don't. But professionally, the fact is that this guy, even though we take the piss out of him a little bit, and we all of us want to see him removed from this position. There's no two ways about that. The fact is he is he's the factor. He's the factor across all of these things that just
common denominator.
The common denominator. Yeah. Why these shows are not delivering has to come down to the guy who's calling the shots.
Well, yeah, he fucked the Mummy up, didn't he?
And he's got four.
The Dark Universe totally fucked that up.
And apparently, he's
rewarded with Star Trek.
Well, that's got nothing to do with anything. Basically, we know how Hollywood works, so we know why he got job after job after job, because he's either kissing someone's ass or maybe, yeah, exactly. So we know why he's there, and we know that because of Bad Robot and the other company, they linked now. They can't be taken away. It's an ironclad contract. So this is the thing. This is what they need to do. They need to destroy this aberration of Star Trek and start again. I mean, look, they've got thousands of ways they can start again, right? They can have another Enterprise, or they can have another ship. Just do Star Trek. Don't do Star Wars.
You know how I start again? I'm bringing this fella to sort it all out. To say he's come for you. He's come for you now, Alex Kurtzman. It's your time. It's your time in the dock. Q demands that you prove yourself worthy of your position. But oh god, can you imagine?
Can I just say to Ian, I would have no problem with all the characters from the Enterprise, you know, in Discovery, in Strange New Worlds, written as a Star Trek show, forgetting all this bollocks about singing, Spock singing, blah blah blah. If it's the characters, I think they're there. Even emo Spock, I quite warmed to him. It's just the writing is.
No, the reason why they shouldn't do it is because if they do it, it will keep Kurtzman Trek alive, and we don't want that. We want
they need to get rid of the 25. Yeah, they need to get rid of the 25% difference. They need to get
rid of all that. We need to start again. We need to have, as I said,
well,
it's either.
I've got it.
Go on in.
Anson Mount grows a beard.
So, there you go.
I have to ask before we leave Lower Decks behind for another week.
Forever.
Mr. Brown, where are your shields holding at the moment with this week 8?
Did I say Decks? I said 39 last time, didn't I? 40.
Oh, okay.
But I'm getting thick-skinned.
I think that's what it is. I mean, when I was in quiet, I really enjoyed. There was one 2 or 3 weeks ago that I really enjoyed, and the rabbi said that perhaps I had Stockholm syndrome that I was suffering from, and I think to some extent, I think perhaps that's true. But with this one, it was just so undisciplined, so overstocked. I didn't hate it.
Fancy. I mean, like, really?
Yeah, it was.
Did you hear that Rosario Dawson wants to play Q in one of the new shows? She's determined to appear in Star Trek and wants to take over this role.
Q's a white dude.
What? Okay, what the hell?
Q's a white dude.
That's all I was. Yeah, why not?
Q is a omnipotent, toxic white male all day long.
That's right. That's why they want to do that.
As much as I love Rosario Dawson, I'm sort of.
I love her.
Yeah, pipe down a bit, love. Pipe down a bit. She's great. She's great. I'm excited to see her in The Mandalorian, but I'd quite like to see her in Star Trek, I suppose, but not playing Q. I don't think. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't
she was
quite
great in Trance.
Doesn't quite work for me.
She was great in that.
No, I've not seen the Danny Boyle movie.
Oh, great film! Watch it.
I don't think I've seen it anyway.
She was good. She was good in Daredevil. She was really good in Daredevil.
She's great in everything.
She's great. She's great. Yeah.
I like her.
I like her a lot.
Rabbi,
you should watch Trance.
Rabbi, I know your shields went weeks ago, didn't they? We've got 2 more Lower Decks. We've got 2 more Lower Decks to come.
Again, the only thing that makes it terrible is it means that when it's over, then Discovery is starting. I think it'd be like a 5 apology season. No, it's a full thing. Like, why?
Well, I want to ask you, what are your instincts? Do you think that the remaining 2 episodes are just going to be more of the same? Or are they going to hit us with something in week 10? Will there be a finale? Will they push the boat out a little bit slower?
Like pulling together of some of the plot thread but who cares?
But I say this again, right? I have nothing against people that like Discovery and this era of Star Trek. God bless you all. But for me and my companions, we do not like it at all. And we should agree to disagree and leave it at that. That's what we should do. So
well said. Well said.
Yeah, as you can probably tell sitting there watching this, if you haven't liked this video and you've been here for however long, the best part of an hour, then like the video. You've been here long enough. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, even if you don't like what we've been saying, because you're going to want us to discuss and revolt you further. on subsequent shows. Yes, because we are going to be in this. I'm certainly going to be here for the next couple of weeks talking about Lower Decks, The Bitter End, and on to Discovery. We shall see. Got a few ideas coming up. So please, yes, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We've got all sorts of other things going on too. Not least of all was this very, very proud of this podcast that we put out a couple of weeks ago with Keith Isles from Let's See What's Out There and my mate Jazz Singh. Jazz was talking about how he went from having seen next to no Star Trek at all to having watched absolutely every single second in a really short period of time.
Wow, that's
impressive. That's impressive.
Very impressive.
Go through everything.
Sorry, Rabbi, what was that, mate?
How long did it take him to go through everything?
Well, without spoiling the bulk of the pot, it took him 5 months to watch.
Wow.
Everything?
From the cage through to the end of Picard season 1. And if you want to find out how Jazz Singh did that, go to the channel, take a look out for this video. It was a pilot show for a podcast. The podcast itself is starting in a few days' time with a proper episode 1 where we talk about the X-Files, myself and Ian, and our special guest. So that's coming soon. But yes, Jazz's story with Star Trek is very, very unique. You don't want to miss that. And there's more Doctor Who talk on the channel too. Of course there is, with other things coming up. What else did I want to talk about before we leave? I'm that overwhelmed with Star Trek talk. Yes. Okay, Discovery back in a couple of weeks' time.
Yay!
That is launching everywhere all at the same
Rabbi,
time.
I love you.
Oh, God.
I love you, Rabbi. I do. I love you, Rabbi.
Hey, Rabbi, are you going to be watching it then? Are you going to be watching a new?
Do you have a watch party? Let's have a watch party.
Yeah, I have a geeky YouTube channel. Of course I got to watch it. And I'm like, oh, God, it's just like 10
Let's have a watch party.
hours out of my life. It's 10. I went through this with Doctor Who, okay? And I said, it's only 10 weeks. No problem. 10, I'll go through it. By the third week, I was like, oh, God, this is like, it was so painful. And it's just going to be worse than season 2. They're not pulling anything together.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch it.
With Picard, I stopped at 2. I couldn't take it any longer. I've never ever done that with anything. Episode 2, that was it. I just thought,
you know what, Mr. Brown,
no more.
Ian, with hindsight,
you did the right thing.
Yeah, yeah. Things got so.
I know.
After that.
I'm not going to watch Discovery. I'm not going to watch the new Doctor Who thing at Christmas, wherever it is. I'm going to rely on the Rabbi and Gary and Dan. And if Dan says, Ian, I want you on to watch Discovery, I will do it for Dan. But if Dan doesn't ask me, I am not watching that show.
That's only my outlook. We watch it so you don't have to.
Exactly.
There will always be there'll always be a mega chair here for you on the bridge here. But, there will. I'm not going to do that to a mate. I wouldn't.
Electric chair.
I don't want to do because it is 13 weeks of your life. And as the Rabbi said, if it's anything like that last season of Doctor Who, by week, I was at week 5 before. I just wanted it over.
Yeah.
Did you watch all the last series of Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I think I got into about episode 3, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then I watched the last one.
Again, things got.
And I'm not a Doctor Who expert like you guys, but my God, it was awful.
It was awful.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, Warp Drive is going to continue, and we've got lots of ideas. Well, I've got lots of ideas of how to keep people more interested and more engaged. Look, Kurtzman's letting us down. Warp Drive won't let you down. We're going to have entertaining and slightly not safe for work conversations whenever I can pull an away team together. I'm going to run some ideas past these guys over the next couple of weeks for how to spice things up a bit, because let's be honest, we can't guarantee that further Discovery is going to be any better than Lower Decks has been. But if you love Star Trek like we love Star Trek deep down, we're going to do everything we can to give you your Star Trek. Give you Star Trek.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it, so you don't have to.
And content that will add to your week, not detract from it. Even if you just come and laugh with us here for an hour. Mega Geek. Ian,
Yeah.
you've got some new content on your channel this week.
I have indeed. I have a film called Bad Day that I made 10 years ago. And it's quite a good film. It's the first time we ever shot on digital. So it's quite good. I've got like stars in it. I've got Claire Goose, I've got Donna Eyre, I've got Sarah Harden from Girls Aloud, she's in it. Robbie G from Snatch, he's in it. So it's 1 hour and 30. So if you've got 1 hour and 30 spare, go to my channel, watch Bad Day, the feature film. It is a homage to the 60s and 70s movies. So we have a black boss that screams, we have a really cool car, we have the rookie cop, we have the cop that knows it all, we have someone that's gone mental. So it is really fun, but here's a warning, it's very violent.
Oh, yes.
Already. There you go.
Yes.
Guaranteed
to have a good time.
That's right.
Bad Day. Rabbi, what's going on with you this week? You want to plug your
right now, I got a video I just dropped about the new Judge Dredd TV series, which if it gets sounds like it's going fully woke. It's going.
They're going with America. They're going to adapt to America, aren't they? I thought you'd be all for that.
About justice and immigration, essentially. Really. Oh God.
Well, if there's one man we trust to give us the green light on that, whether we should invest in any possibility of it being any good at all, we can trust the Rabbi. We do trust the Rabbi. Even
here's my message to the entertainment industry: don't make it.
Rabbi,
until you go through the day without thinking 4 times a minute about who the president is. Okay, you can do once you can do that, go back to work. But if you can't, then you're not up for it, mate. You're just gone bonkers. It's okay. Okay. It don't come out the way you like it. It's okay. Just relax.
He's got a point, hasn't he? Mr. Brown, thanks for joining us again this time.
Yeah,
my pleasure. Time. If you're going to be aboard for the duration, you're always welcome to come back and tell us about
Bad
it.
Penny. Yeah, I am the bad penny of the channel, yes.
But let's face it, everybody, right? The best show on TV so far now is The Boys. The Boys is kicking the ass.
Great.
It's kicking ass.
I love Raised by Wolves and I love Brave New World. I think they were the two best things this year. Raised by Wolves is really good.
I would agree. I've only seen episode 1 of Raised by Wolves, and I think it's fantastic. So who am I to argue with that?
I also like. I'll tell you what I'm watching at the moment. Bargain Hunt. That's fantastic. Is Bargain Hunt. Since
hang on, it's not gone woke. It's not gone woke.
No, it's not gone woke. No.
It has actually, but I can forgive it. I can forgive it. Yeah, Bargain Hunt. It's fantastic.
Okay, we're gonna shoot off back down the wormhole, and join us again next time. Subscribe to the channel for more Warp Drive. Good night, everybody. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.